Hey dudes and girls, we're here in the gym and we're about to cover a big compound movement. It's gonna be the overhead press. And we got Lewis over here, Big Louie, and he's gonna be joining us. 6'2", 160 pounds, and he's 17 years old, and he's ready to grow. But before growing, you gotta know the basics. And this is a basic compound movement for the delts. You ready for this, Lewis?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, all right. So we got the bar set up here. Lewis already did some mobility and some warm-up, so we don't have to go through that today. But we're gonna just have him step up to the bar here and go over the bare essentials of what you need to keep in mind for this movement. So when you come up to the bar here, Lewis, you wanna keep in mind, you wanna get your feet just about hip width apart, just like so, perfect. Now one thing to keep in mind is that you're gonna be locking out your knees. So you'll see a lot of guys, when they start pressing, they'll start bouncing like this. And that's different, that's a push press. So we're just gonna do the overhead press. It's a stricter movement, so most of the power is coming just in the delts rather than in the hips and in the legs here. So once you walk up the bar, go ahead and get a little bit closer. So the bar should just start about the clavicle right here. Yeah, exactly. So feet just about hip width, perfect, locked out. So you're gonna step up a little bit closer so that way you can grab the bar and unrack it really easily. So go ahead and grab it, yep. And yeah, and you're gonna start lower. So start just like this, right below the chin, right at the clavicle here, and let's close up the grip slightly. So close it up just about there, good. So you want your grip just about shoulder width here. So what's gonna happen is that's gonna make your forearms vertical. That's a position that you want. So if your forearms start pushing out here, that's when you know you're going a bit wide, or if you're going too close, your forearm's gonna come in here. So this is a perfect position right here in your forearms. That's when you know, good. And the bar's gonna be in about the meat of your palm there, so that way you're not bending back too much. You have the good support in the wrists, just like so. Now the problem is, once you start pressing up, go ahead, Lewis, press up. Excellent, and come back down. Good, so the problem is, when you press that bar up, the bar is gonna be right under the chin, so what you're gonna have to do to get a vertical straight push, rather than have to go around your head, you're gonna have to bob your head back slightly as you lift the bar up. Now this is gonna take some coordination, might take a little bit to get used to it, but so go ahead and press, slightly bob the head out of the way, and then what you're gonna do is when you reach that top position, Lewis, go ahead and press it all the way up, push your head through slightly, just like so, straighten the arms all the way up to lockout, and elevate your traps so all the way up, good. You're gonna feel your traps contract here, and now go ahead and bring it right back down, bob your head out of the way for the bar, and then push your head through just slightly, good. So you wanna try to keep that neutral chin at all times, Lewis. So when you're pressing up, try not to look up when you do it, because immediately that's gonna tilt your chest upwards, and it's gonna have your back kind of arch. So try to keep a really straight back here. So when you're pressing up, just bob the head out of the way, get that full extension, lock out the arms, and elevate the traps as you press up. It's gonna contract the traps here, and that's gonna stabilize that shoulder joint here. So you're not only getting the delts, but you're also getting your trapezius workout too here. So go ahead and lower it all the way down, bob your head out of the way as you lower it, and then start in the beginning position here. Good. All right, go ahead and rack it. How'd that feel? A little awkward at first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is, a lot of times when you first start out here, you know, the bar can even clip you on your nose on the way up too. So it's gonna be some coordination, like I said there. When you press up, you're gonna have to slightly bob out of the way. A lot of people make the mistake of when they're pressing up, they're gonna move the bar here, and you're gonna kind of get that line. It's gonna go up and around, and that's kind of wasted power or wasted energy you're doing. You wanna get a straight push, and that's gonna build a lot more power, and it's gonna be easier to push a lot more weight. So we're gonna put a little bit weight on here so you can kind of feel a little bit more resistance on it. And we're just gonna start pretty light. We don't wanna go too heavy right away. So we'll just add some 10s on here. There you go. Get some clips on there too. Perfect, good. So, we're gonna get same position. I'll just let you do it on your own to see if you got it down right. There we go. Good. Locked out in the legs. Perfect position. Remember those forearms getting vertical, so bring them up just slightly. There we go. Bring that grip in just slightly. Start with the elbows pretty close to the body. Arms vertical. Perfect. Okay, so that's the beginning position. Good. You should get just kind of comfortable and sitting in that position here. So if you have a lot of weight on there, you can actually just sit it comfortably here. Get everything nice and tense, and I'll let you push straight up. There we go, and then all the way through. Good, lock, and then go ahead and bring it down. Bob the head out, there we go, good. Ready? Bob head back, and then forward, and then, yep, there we go. A little bit more, perfect, and then come back, and down. Good, exactly. Go ahead and sit there. So when you press, kind of slightly bring your head back, and then slightly forward, but don't, yep, again, press, there we go. And not too forward too, yep, neutral chin, good, and then right back down. Beautiful, okay, go ahead and rack it. So you'll feel in that top position, right? Your core immediately has to start stabilizing you, right? Because what happens is your center of gravity is starting to raise because that weight is now bringing it up here. So now you're feeling like you're almost like teetering, right? Over. Exactly, yeah. But that's a good thing because what happens is then your core does have to work more. That's why you want to bring it all up and bring all that tension in there and then bring it down here. So it's kind of something to get used to as you do it. But the more you do it, of course, the better you get, much like any kind of movement or anything you do. So I'm gonna have you do a little bit more, one more set, just so you get a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm just gonna watch it, and I'm just gonna see how you perform. Okay. And yeah, once you get a little rest, if you need it, no worries. But let's get you in position here. There we go. Good, tense core, beautiful. Chin, there we go, right there. And good. Perfect, yep, go ahead and rack it. Nice. Now you're holding your breath. Do you feel like you're holding your breath at all?
Yeah, I feel like my breathing's not very good.
Exactly, and that's one thing to practice too. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. When you're pressing, you naturally want to hold your breath through the difficult portion because as you hold your breath, you're actually going to have kind of pushing against a closed airway, so it kind of tenses the muscles more. So that's pretty natural, and that's actually good. It's called the Valsalva maneuver. We're not going to get too much into that now, but what you want to do is take a nice deep breath in the beginning position. Get it? And you can hold your breath in that difficult portion of the push. Exhale at the top, still keeping that nice tight core, and then you can inhale on the way down too. So it's kind of that timing, and again, it's all that coordination. So you're kind of like, your mind is kind of going overboard when you're thinking about all this stuff. You're like, okay, feet position, hand position, bobbing the head out of the way, you're breathing. But again, it's just practice. As long as you keep those kind of key points in mind, then you can be safe. So to kind of go over what we just went over, the do's and don'ts, what you don't want to do is you don't want to push too much as you're pressing. You don't want to have, you don't want to lean back and look up, so immediately that's going to bring your chest up, it's going to arch your back, and then all of a sudden you're kind of almost making like an incline press. So you want to keep that neutral chin. And another thing is you don't want too wide or too narrow of a grip. So you're going to be pushing out here or pushing in here. So it's going to kind of throw the muscle balance off a bit, so you're not actually utilizing it correctly. So what you do want, neutral chin at all times. You want to keep that legs locked and tensed. You want to get about hip width in your feet. And you want to bring that, close that in. Your grip is going to be about shoulder width here, so that your form is going to be vertical. As soon as you press, bob the head out of the way, so you get that straight press, and then slightly bob it forward to back into that neutral position. You'll make the mistake sometimes of going too much, like here, and that can cause a little bit of injury there if you go overboard, especially if you're pressing really heavy. So kind of keep it more neutral, just straight, and then once you start bringing it down, you're going to bob the head back out of the way in that starting position. So, you rocked that, man. That was good, yeah. Things to keep in mind, the more you do it, the better you get. Yeah. And that's Buff Juice style right there, hell yeah. How you feeling, Lou?
Good.
Big Louie, he's at it again. Hitting that compound press, baby. Yeah, overhead press, making it look simple. What do we tell him, Big Lou? Stay buff. Yeah. All right, we're still practicing on that, but we'll get it down one of these days.